Okay, hello guys. Before this video starts, I wanted to say something about the little thing that you see on your screen. Um, I recorded the video and I did the editing, and I was about to export it and download it, but then I noticed that you have to pay for the app to remove this stuff, but it's really expensive and I don't have the money right now. And I am looking for a new um, editing tool that is not as expensive if I have to pay, or if I can find one for free that does the job, then it's great. But since I finished editing it and I don't want to go through all of it again, I decided to leave it there for this video and find something else for the next one. So I apologize if it bothers you guys, but I had to do it. I'm sorry. But anyway, I hope you will still enjoy the video, and I will leave you with the video. Hello everyone! Merry Christmas and welcome to this new video! Today I'm going to talk to you guys about my favorite book of the year, which is a great way to celebrate Christmas by talking about good books that I loved. So the books are there. You cannot see what they are yet. I don't have all of them in physical copies, sadly, but I have my list. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the books that I don't have physically with me right now. So the first one, I'm gonna take my reading journal because I forgot the name of the author. Okay, so the first book that we're gonna talk about in this video is Paris by Veronica Tyler. So it's a lesbian book, so I liked it. It was written in such a poetic way that I read it in one sitting. It's not a big book, it's pretty short. I read it in one sitting and it was so poetic and tragic and beautiful. I was hooked and I loved it. The two main characters have write each other letters throughout the books, and I love this aspect of the book, and obviously it's 5 stars. Every book in this video are gonna be 5 stars, obviously, because it's my favorite books of the year. I don't really know what else to say about that book, honestly, but without spoiling it. But it's giving Good Luck Babe by Chapel Roan. So if you like that song, you're gonna like the book, and I think you should read it because this book is not really popular. It's not a well-known book, but it should be. It should be. I read it as an arc and I loved it, and I need it in physical copy just to have it. It's a need at this point, and I think everyone should read it because it's really beautiful and very gay. Next book is This Foul Murder by Chloe Gong. Obviously, my favorite books of the year, there's gonna be a Chloe Gong book. I have it in physical, but I'm dumb and I forgot it at my apartment. And right now I am at my father's house, so I'm dumb because I don't have it with me. But anyway, so This Foul Murder is a novella that happens after the events of This Violent Delight and Our Violent Ends. and it's about and Marshall, Benedict and Marshall, and I love them so much. Like, they are so sweet together. They are my little gay babies. And in the book there are very sweet moments, but there's also a murder mystery in the book. And I think it was a nice way to have them together one more time for another book without being too much or too like lovey-dovey and stuff. So I think it was a nice touch to their relationship and to the universe as a whole. I enjoyed the murder mystery. I enjoyed the cute moments between each other, and I enjoyed the book as a whole because I mean it ended up in my favorite book of the year. So that's that. I don't have much to say though because it's a novella and it was pretty short, but it was very nice and very cute and very intriguing and very murder mystery cool. I don't know what else to say, I'm sorry. From now on, I have them in physical right there. And I'm gonna take the first one. By the way, there is no particular order for this video, like, it's not from my least favorite to my favorite, because my favorite is in my hands right now. But there is no particular order, okay? So, this book. Flowers for Aron by David Kayes. What can I say? This book follows a guy who is mentally retarded. I don't think we say retarded anymore, but like he's mentally behind. I don't want to say anything offensive, I'm sorry. Like he mentally is not as evolved. I think we can say that. I don't know. Please tell me what is the offensive way of saying it, because I don't want to say it anymore. And I'm sorry if I said it, but I had to explain it. I'm sorry. But anyway, and one day he has the opportunity to go through a surgery to make him more intelligent. So he goes through the test and stuff. And the book is written like we are reading not his diary, but like he's writing stuff for the doctors to see his evolution, and this is what we are reading when we read the book. So at the very beginning, the very first page, the first time I read the book, it caught me off guard because it's written with a lot of typos and bad grammar and stuff to show us that he doesn't know how to speak properly. And he, at the very beginning of the book, he speaks and acts in a very childish way. I read that book for the first time when I was 13. It was in middle school, and it was one of the only books that I read for school, because at the time I loved reading, but I don't like reading for school because I don't like to have a book. Like, I don't like to have someone give me a book and be like, you have to read that in this amount of time. So I never read any books for school, but this one I read it in time, at the time, and I loved it. I loved it when I was 13 years old, and this year I saw it on my shelf and I was like, I'm gonna read that again, but as a grown-up at 20 years old, 7 years later. Oh my god. It's so weird to say that 7 years later. I feel anyway. So anyway, I don't. We don't care. And at the time already, it was one of my favorite book, and it is still one of my favorite book. So this guy goes through a surgery to improve his IQ, and we see the evolution in his way of writing and his way of acting. And so he becomes more and more intelligent and has a bigger IQ, and then at some point he's like super intelligent, like above everyone else he knows. And we see that it causes problems too. And one of the best but also saddest thing about this book is that when he gains IQ, he realizes that people that he thought were his friends were actually people who did not really care about him and were making fun of him. Thing that as a reader we know from the start, because we can see how they act toward him, but he doesn't understand, and that's very sad. And when he does understand, it's also very sad. And I just love that book, and I don't want to spoil the end, but the end is heartbreaking and really clever, and I just love it. And I had bought another copy of that book. Wait, I'm gonna try and find it. Okay, I did not find it, but I had bought another copy of the book because I couldn't find the book that I had, which is this one that I found not long ago. I found it in one of the boxes that were in my attic. And when I found it, I was like, oh my god, that's the book I read at the time. That's my baby. And I love the cover way more than I like the cover of the other one that I bought, that I'm gonna put here to show you guys. But I really like it with the little labyrinth and the mouse in the middle, because Algernon, flowers for Algernon is a mouse. Because obviously scientists, before trying something on humans, they try it on animals, especially mice. And so Algernon is a mouse that went through that surgery that the main character went through before him, and she's the mouse on which it worked the best. So after the experiment on her, they were like, okay, we can experiment on humans now. So she's pretty important in the book and the symbolic. Anyway, I don't think I have much more to say, but I loved this book so much, and I will beg every single one of you guys to read it, because it's really worth it. I loved it, and I think I'm gonna reread it in a few years again. I know it's a kind of book that will not end up on my shelf. Like some books I read and then I know I'm never gonna read them again, but I keep them because I don't want to sell my books. I keep them. But this one, I know it's not gonna stay untouched. I know I'm gonna read it again, and I cannot wait to read it again in a few years, when I will have more life experience and be a little more grown up, because I'm 20 but I'm still a child. Okay, I don't want to grow up. Please, I don't want to grow up. Never Grow Up by Taylor Swift. Okay, now we're gonna switch on something heavy. This book. Okay, wait, I need to pull up my reading journal to tell you guys the trigger warnings for that book. So, it is Cinderella by Sylvain Johnson, from a book series that I love, which is the Forbidden Tales, which take famous tales like Cinderella and turn them into horrific, gore, horrible books. And I love it. And I have a few there. I have 4. All of them are at my apartment, but I'm planning on having a shelf with only Forbidden Tales. And I'm gonna read to you guys the trigger warnings for this book that I wrote. So, murder, gruesome, child abuse, brutality in prison, self-harm, rape, I don't want to get struck by YouTube, necrophilia, dementia, and suicide. So that's a lot. That's a lot for a 200 pages book. Yeah. So this book follows, how is she called? Sandrine. She's called Sandrine and not Cinderella in the book. So we follow Sandrine, and she has like 2 evil sisters like Cinderella, and at the very beginning of the book she kills them in a very brutal way and horrible. Like, usually Forbidden Tales books have a little bit, like the one I read at least, have had a little, like 1 or 2 chapters before things started to escalate. But this one, from the very beginning, we have horrible stuff. So she kills them. And then she gets caught and she ends up in prison. And in prison, horrible stuff happened to her. And she has one goal in mind, to kill the woman who married her father. And we learn a lot of things, like it's gruesome and horrific and horrible. Not really horrific, it's very realistic. Not realistic either, because it doesn't happen in real life, because there's something with some supernatural things, but it's more realistic than, for example, Peter Pan that I read as well. Well, no, actually. They make Forbidden Tales very realistic compared to the tales, which is even more horrible. But I love that. There's a mystery in the book surrounding her father, I believe, that we know about at the end, and I love that as well. But you have to not be sensitive to read that book, and you have to be very, very prepared mentally, because some stuff, even me who is used to reading Forbidden Tales books, there was a part of the book about child abuse that really caught me off guard and that made me really uncomfortable, and I had to put down the book for some minutes before continuing reading it, because it was a lot. And I think it's the worst Forbidden Tale I read for now. Like, in my list of my favorite book of the year, I had Peter Pan, which is also a Forbidden Tale, and I was hesitating between the 2 of them, like which one am I gonna talk about in the video, because it's a top 5. And both of them are 5 stars to me, but I choose Cinderella because it had a bigger impact on me, and it shocked me more, and it made me feel more bad, I guess. Which is great. I like books like that, okay, but it's very specific, and it's not for everyone. Like, in my country at least, you have, when you buy it, you have to be 18, and in a lot of stores you have to show your ID to buy it. Like I'm buying alcohol, I have to show my ID, or like I don't have to show my ID because it's pretty obvious that I'm not a minor, but you have to prove that you're not a minor to have Forbidden Tales. At least in my country, I don't know how it works in other countries. I live in France, and I think they should do that with dark romance, because you can buy dark romance like that, but Forbidden Tales you have to prove that you're not a minor, which is great for Forbidden Tales, but it should be for dark romance as well. But that's not the point of the video, is it? It's not. So Cinderella, a very good book if you are prepared and if you can read books like that, because it's really heavy, and I'm not lying and I'm not exaggerating. It is really heavy, but I loved it because it's in my top 5. Now let's get more cozy with the last book of this video, which is Mooncakes by Wendy Xu, Susan Walker, and Jamet Jill. I don't know their respective roles, like if which one wrote the story, which one did the illustration, because it's a graphic novel. Look at that, it's beautiful. It is the first book I read this year, and it ends up in my favorite books of the year, which is great. So we follow Nova, which is a witch, and Tam, who is a werewolf, a non-binary werewolf, and they have a little romance, and there is a little mystery as well. I love books with a little mystery subplot. Interesting. And overall, Nova's grandmothers, she has 2 grandmothers, they're lesbians. I love them. So they encounter an issue that they have to understand, like, as witches and werewolves. I don't know how to explain this book. I suck, so I'm just gonna read what is written, okay? One fateful night, teen witch Nova Huang follows reports of a white wolf in the woods and discovers her childhood crush. Yes, it's childhood best friends to lovers as well. My favorite trope. A werewolf, Tam Lang, battling a horse demon. Now, against the background of a slowly rekindling romance, Tam and Nova must investigate the dark supernatural forces eager to claim wolf magic for evil. That's the book, and I could not summarize this, but thankfully it was written on the book, so I don't have to make my brain work. I'm started to be tired. What the fuck? I don't know how to speak anymore. What is happening to me? Anyway, I love that book. I read it once in January, and I wanted to read it a second time, but I did not finish it. But it was very cute still. It's cute. That's all I have to say. If you want a little cozy read, you can pick up Mooncakes. It's very cute, very cozy, as I said already, and it's not like Cinderella. It's cute. If you want to read horrible stuff, read Cinderella. If you want to read cute, cozy things, read Mooncakes. If you want to read things that make you think of society and science and people, read Flowers for Algernon. My books, I love them. Oh my god, and I'm very sad I don't have the two other one in physical copy. If you want to read a fast-paced book about gay people, read both This Foul Murder and Paris. Anyway, I think we're gonna stop there for this video because I don't have anything more to say. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you will take some of my favorite books of the year as recommendations, and enjoy it as well, because I'm doing this video for me because I love those books, but also for you guys if you are looking for new books to read. And I feel like most of them are not popular books. My camera died, so I'm gonna finish quickly. So, it's here. Flowers for Algernon is a classic, so it's definitely a well-known book, but I feel like in this booktube community, not many people have read it, and you should. Cinderella from the Forbidden Tales. The Forbidden Tales, I've never seen anyone talk about it in YouTube, in booktube. Mooncakes, neither. Paris, neither. And This Foul Murder is, I think, the most known book because it's by Chloe Gong and she's well known as an author. So I feel like I'm giving out some great recommendations for you guys in this video. Anyway, I'm gonna stop there. It's the 24th of December for me, but I'm gonna post it tomorrow so that it's gonna be your Christmas gift. A little video from me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great holiday and you spend a great Christmas and a good end of the year. Bye!